All right, 33.1. We need the weights. Hold on, gotta get the weights. Sorry, here we go, sorry.
What are the weights for?
They lift up the pole and my arm just like an inch and a quarter or some crap.
Is it to make you be taller?
Just to make Lance wants my hand up a little further than it was when the pole's not quite tall enough, so we have to jack it up.
All right, man.
All right, so this week it came out that Mueller has 10,000 emails from the Trump transition team that were written on computers, I guess, that are supplied by the GSA, which is the General Services Agency, and Trump is saying that they were illegally obtained, except that emails written on GSA computers, written on government computers, are by default government property, and every time you log into the computers, a big disclaimer comes up, says, hey, this is not private stuff. This is, anything you do on here is work product that is public. So, and Mueller's insisting that he got all the emails through legal means.
And this gives liberals a lot of hope. Is that what you're telling me?
No, the whole thing has been, yeah, there are people who are hopey, but there's also a certain amount of wait and see. But what it has done is it's along with, that's part of what's going on also is like Judge Jean Pirro. Is it Janine Pirro? What is it? Anyway, Judge Pirro, who's a Fox yelly lady with, big 1960s hair, and a bunch of other people in the conservative media are saying that the Mueller investigation is corrupt and biased, and they have the smoking gun because a couple FBI agents who were banging each other had been exchanging emails where they said Trump is crappy, though they also said like Bernie Sanders is crappy, and I forget, Chelsea Clinton they don't like, but anyway, they got fired, or not fired, but taken off the case 6 months ago. So anyway, that's all going on. Charges of that Mueller is biased and needs to go. Mueller has 10,000 emails from the Trump transition team. And I'll keep saying what I've been saying, which is, we'll wait and see. Well, there was also another thing, like that on Friday, there was huge buzz that Jared Kushner, you could see little rumors on Facebook and Twitter that Kushner was about to be indicted by the end of the day or something like that. And then by the next day, there were rumors that the rumors from Friday were the product of Russian propaganda bots. So I guess who the F knows about any of this stuff? Oh, there's also, if we need another topic, there's also the FCC getting rid of net neutrality.
Okay. Well, what do you think about that?
It seems like, I like the internet the way it works now. And all the FCC guys who were voting to get rid of it are saying this is gonna lead to a big blooming of industry. If it'll be the golden age of something regarding I tend to think that that's bullshit. That giving more control to the cable companies or deregulating the cable companies, they're near monopolies anyway right now, and their service is pricey and unreliable as it is right now, and giving them more free rein, I'm not sure is the way to go. So no, I don't like it.
What did you think of, not to change the subject, but, well, yeah, I will change the subject.
Okay.
I'm sorry that you're worried about the net neutrality thing. From what I hear, the conservatives' perspective is that it was the net neutrality thing was only changed 2 years ago. So, if you didn't like the net 3 years ago, I don't know what this is going to do to you. If you liked it 3 or 4 years ago, I don't know why this is going to make it bad for you.
I don't know. Just the idea that, that one company can screw over another company's product. But if you want to stream Netflix over, Spectrum cable, or over, through their modems or whatever, that they might slow you down, and you might, have to wait for buffering or shit like that. I don't know. Or you might have to pay extra to get decent. I don't know.
Well,
I'm just happy that the internet isn't like it was in 1995, where it took like 45 seconds or sometimes a minute to download one picture of a naked lady, and sometimes you only got the top of her head. That was back when it was AOL on dial-up.
That's the worst part, too, yeah. So, there are a couple of things. Now you're concerned about these 10,000 emails. The microphone's putting a shadow on Rick now. Oh, that's fine. So, you're concerned that Trump is trying to keep the emails out of the hands of Mueller because it sounds like he's got something to hide, right? You're concerned about that.
I don't know. I'm just basically I was reporting what the deal is right now. Though though you said people are hopeful on the liberal side, and
Those emails will show something, huh?
yeah, I guess so. I guess I share that hope
so
that there's.
It didn't bother you when Hillary Clinton actually destroyed 30,000 emails with hammers and bleach pit. That didn't bother you.
From what I understand, those emails were like sifted through and vetted, and she had the right to.
No, they weren't.
All right. Well, and
They were demanded. They were subpoenaed. She destroyed evidence
all right.
that was demanded, and that didn't bother you.
I don't know the whole deal.
That's exactly what happened. You can look it up on the internet. They submitted a request for her emails during a certain period of time. There were 30,000 of them, and rather than
Oh wait,
hand them
let's make it
over to the
let's make this go
investigators,
fast. Let me just
she
say no.
destroyed them.
Yeah, let me just say I'm not concerned. As a good liberal, I'm not fucking concerned about the 33,000 emails.
30,000. Okay,
I-
so
anyway.
that doesn't scare you. That doesn't bother you. So you want all of Trump's emails, but when Hillary Clinton destroys evidence, that doesn't concern you.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that. I mean, all right. Bush and Cheney destroyed 2 million of their emails.
No, they didn't.
Where'd they go? Where'd the 2 million emails go?
They didn't. They didn't have their emails requested. They were a clean operation. They weren't investigated.
What
for
are these 2
impeachment.
million emails that I've been brainwashed into thinking that those guys had?
There was no investigation. I think there was something about Cheney, but it didn't go anywhere. Nothing happened. I don't recall it being of any importance to anybody.
Oh, let's take a side trip here.
Yeah.
Cheney, creepy guy or not?
For God's sake. How do I know? I didn't hang out with him. How would anybody know that?
I don't know, because he seems like he manipulated Bush into getting like deeper into a war that maybe we didn't have to fight.
I thought we weren't going to talk about the Iraq War.
No, let's not talk about the war, but Cheney himself, like deeply, former honcho at Halliburton, and Halliburton makes a buttload of money off of the Iraq War too.
Well, it's not unreasonable for a person to work in the defense industry if they're an expert in defense.
Yeah, all right, so okay, so you're pretty okay with Cheney?
Well, what was he supposed to do? Go to work on a farm somewhere where there was no possibility that anything he did would have any effect on the government whatsoever?
I don't know. I mean, he named himself vice president. Bush hired him to pick a good vice presidential candidate, and Cheney's like, oh, I looked at all the guys, and I'm the best guy.
I think he did a fine job.
Okay, all right.
What was wrong with him? It's just.
Well, he
just
helped
a
get us
feeling
into
you
this.
have?
All right.
So
Okay.
he helped get us into a war after we felt we had to go to war with the enemies of our country.
All right, so all right, I disagree. Let's move on. McNamara, just for fun, because really fast, because nobody gives a crap about McNamara because he's from 50 years ago.
McNamara.
Yeah, because there's a new movie out, The Post, which is about the Washington Post and Katharine Graham and Ben Bradley in the early days leading up to Watergate, 1971, when they decide to defy Nixon and publish the Pentagon Papers. And McNamara is a character in the movie. And he's an interesting guy because he was deep. I mean, he was, Secretary of Defense, right? For that era.
Yeah.
He got us deeper into Vietnam and then commissioned a study that turned into the Pentagon Papers that turned out that seemed to show that we'd been fucking up the war forever, and then felt great remorse decades later and basically apologized for his role in the war in the Errol Morris documentary, The Fog of War. So McNamara, and also he was a captain of industry, what was he, GM or something, who moved into, who was brought on for his organizational expertise.
Well, now okay.
I probably said a bunch of stuff that you have contradictory, I'm just...
Well, I mean, okay, we needed to, every war is voluntary, Rick. You can choose to let the enemy win territory, win over countries, or you can choose to fight them. McNamara's his administration of the Vietnam War was poor because we had the firepower, we had the ability to defeat the Vietnamese, but we didn't fight them properly. Now, it was not, he wasn't an evil person, he wasn't wrong in what he was trying to do, but his strategy didn't work. So,
okay, all right, so let's move on from there.
I'm actually kind of curious because I was thinking about it this week, and I was thinking why I haven't convinced you to give up being a Democrat. At the end of every show, I ask you at the beginning of every show, I ask you, have you found any collusion between Russia and Trump?
And during every show, I say the same thing. It's just wait and see, wait and fucking see.
Right. And then I say what the Congress is beginning to say, the Republicans. They're beginning to say, look, guy, you've had almost a year. You haven't come up with one shred of evidence that Trump had anything to do with Russia. Now, I think it's high time that you either put up or shut up.
Well, all right, so... and I say...
You always say that Watergate took a year and a half, and
or
then
2
I say,
years, even.
And then I say, but they had evidence from the first day.
Well, they had this crime, but it wasn't connected to Nixon
Yes, it
until
was.
later.
Yes, it was.
Well,
The crime was committed by people that were
plumbers.
hired by the committee to reelect the president, headed by the Attorney General John
Yeah, but
John Mitchell.
It took a long time
They knew that after a month or two.
Yeah, but they didn't know that they didn't have the tapes. They didn't have the 18-minute gap in the tapes. All that stuff took...
Right, that took a while, but my point is you have zero evidence whatsoever.
No,
that
that's
Trump
not true.
worked
I mean,
with.
I don't know
Well, then
what
give me the evidence. You give me the evidence right this minute. Where is the evidence that Trump colluded with Russia?
We've got these... Okay, you're not supposed to yell. And I've been saying that the areas in which the evidence can lie are, his financial involvement with Russia beginning in 2013 at the latest.
The evidence where it turns out you had sex with a child could be right out that door, Rick.
I'm just saying that Trump...
You have no evidence. You have no evidence.
I'm not the evidence guy. Mueller is the evidence-gathering guy.
And he doesn't have any.
How do you know?
He's got millions of dollars. He's got lawyer after lawyer.
He spent $5.2 million.
Yeah, where is it? Where's the evidence?
Well, has he said, I don't have any evidence, or does he keep
I
gathering
think
evidence?
at this point, you tell him, give us the evidence or get out.
Why? Because he's getting.
Because he hasn't done
because
anything.
the liberal brainwashing media says that you guys are all freaking out. The conservatives in the Senate and the House, and the conservative media is saying, "Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?" Because he's getting closer. Because he's accumulating too much stuff, and it looks like there may be a bunch of shit.
I think it looks like virtually nothing, Rick. I don't see
but-
anything. Where? I don't see anything. Are you seeing something I'm not seeing?
Yeah, I've read a gazillion articles.
Tell me all the articles. Tell me one. Tell me
I'll
one
tell
fact.
I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that beginning in 2013, at the latest, Trump and his family began to have financial entanglements with Russian oligarchs. People who had a lot of money to spend and a lot of money they needed to launder because of they had the money in rubles and they needed to get it into other stuff, other currencies, because they made the money because they were buddies with Putin.
I don't care about those people. What did they do with Trump?
They bought his real estate at
So
crazily
what?
inflated prices.
So what? What is he supposed to do?
They gave him loans through Deutsche Bank, which was the world's number one ruble laundering bank at the time.
Okay, by the way, I'm not sure that's true, but even if it is, he has business dealings with everybody on earth.
Except that banks were not, according to what I've heard and read, banks didn't want to loan him money anymore because he has a habit, he likes to default on loans.
Okay.
And banks don't like when you default on loans, and except Deutsche Bank was okay.
Well, so wait a minute. Deutsche Bank is a German bank.
Yeah, but they
What
got
does that-
fined.
What does that have to do with Russia?
They were in bed with the oligarchs because they got caught laundering rubles for. There's this. Money laundering is. You kind of know how it works, right? And it's really primitive, I think, in a lot of ways. You've got money that you can't spend because it's dirty or it's in the wrong currency, and you want to get it out and protect it more because, under Putin, if you
believe that Russian oligarchs gave money to Trump?
Well, what I believe is that, when you launder money, you expect to have to spend some of that money to turn it from money that's less spendable to more
I understand
spendable.
about laundering money, but there are laundering monies all over the planet right now. You're making a specific accusation. You're saying that Russian oligarchs gave Trump money, and you have
I'm saying that
some evidence for this, or is it just a mood you're in?
There was a big New Yorker article a year ago. This was all over. Well, it wasn't. I don't know if it was 60 Minutes or it was. I don't think it was 60 Minutes. But anyway, it was a whole thing. I think it was probably an hour show on one of the liberal news channels about how the whole thing worked.
No, I'm pretty impressed so far.
I know, you think it's nothing. You think we got nothing. But anyway, and I've been saying, but
You know what I have? I have that you have already agreed to a lot of failings of the Democratic Party. And in one of your moments of candor where you couldn't slip out and you just admitted it, you
What?
told me that the reason you were voting Democrat was because you were convinced that the Democrats were nicer to black people. And that was basically all you could give me.
oh, wait, are you going to be my mom that we've been talking, we have 70 episodes online now. And you should watch a bunch of them, not just the ones where there's a bikini girl. even though she got a perfect score on the SAT. And my mom likes to bring up shit I said in the heat of the moment when I was 12.
Okay, well, listen, let me just finish my point, and then you can debate whether I'm right about that.
Okay.
We couldn't figure out why you were voting Democrat.
Well, they're
Since-
closer. What Democrats stand for, I believe, is closer to the American ideal that we grew up with.
Which means what?
Opportunity.
Republicans are against opportunity.
Opportunity across, like, fairness, opportunity, justice.
Republicans are against justice and opportunity.
In certain ways, yeah.
What ways are those?
Well, you guys are demographically the party of white guys, and to some extent, white women.
Okay, so that brings me to my point. Under Obama, your man, we toppled Gaddafi, and the country of Libya, as I said last week, fell into complete chaos. Obama toppled Gaddafi, left no troops there, had no plan, and now they're selling black people as slaves by the thousands.
All right, so here, we got to go fast. 'Cause
No, I want to know how you can still vote Democrat.
how can you still vote Republican because we fucked up Iraq?
No,
We went in, we had no plan.
You agreed that it was Obama's pulling out the troops
No,
that caused that.
no. We went in, we collapsed the government, we
Yes.
fired the Baathists, a lot of whom went out and formed, like,
It wouldn't have mattered if we'd have left our troops there. You looked up.
you
on
guys
the
had
internet.
no plan under Bush in 2003, 2004, 2005. You had no plan for peace. You just thought
Rick, the plan is.
It's symmetrical.
No. When you defeat a country, you don't just defeat the country and run away. You leave a base there.
We had
to
no
occupy
plan.
it. No,
Your
that was
guys,
the plan.
Rumsfeld and
Rick,
company.
Rick, that's the plan.
It's symmetrical.
You can't
if
just
you,
say
if you
it.
want to, if you want to say that we had no plan for post-Gaddafi Libya,
No.
you guys had no plan
No,
for.
Rick, it was your president in 2011 that pulled out the troops. He was elected in 2008, remember?
You guys, the country had already been fucked up for 6 years.
No. The violence had gone down.
5 years.
The violence had gone down to where we had more casualties from car accidents of military in the U.S.
You guys had
than we had in Iraq.
You guys had no plan for the peace
it's
in
common
Iraq.
sense, Rick.
You
Rick,
guys, you
Rick,
went in,
no,
you
no,
arrogantly.
No. You let me answer this question. You can't talk over me. The plan was we were to leave troops there until the country was stable.
And it wasn't stable because you guys fucked it up and got rid of all the Baathists.
Yeah, I don't care about the Baathists, Rick. We stabilized that country. Your man pulled the troops out. Iraq fell to pieces. Then he did the same thing in Libya, and now black people are being sold into slavery by
Iraq
the
was
thousands.
in pieces because in 2004, 2005, you had no. It's symmetrical.
Rick,
if you want to give me
Rick.
shit for Libya, I get to give you shit for Iraq.
Who
It's
pulled
the same
troops
thing.
out? Who pulled the troops out?
You guys had fucked up the country 3 years before.
Rick, let me answer. If we
You
didn't-
can't bully me into.
I will listen to you all night. Go ahead. Explain it to me. How was it not Obama's fault?
You guys go in, you invade Iraq,
Yes.
looking for, and you can go ahead and say there were WMDs, but there really weren't.
Yes, there were.
There weren't. There fucking weren't. The only WMDs were these old fucking canisters of nerve gas that had been dumped in the desert that weren't.
You
were no
put them
one-
on a plane and drop them over New York, they'll kill 200,000 people.
They weren't usable at that point. They were
How do
old
you know?
busted. Because I've read the fucking articles that analyze it by legitimate journalists and not fucking conservative fucking podcasters.